something is wrong.
How you doing?
Please join our stream.
Hello. Hi, good evening, and welcome to this epic preview for this. I'll say this is. I mean, it's been dubbed the fight of the century. It's been dubbed the biggest fight of the decade. This is a huge fight between two undefeated guys, between two big names in the boxing world, between two very technical fighters, two, in my opinion, the best guys in the division. And you're welcome to this preview today. And of course, as you know, I'm not alone today. I'm with my brother and my friend, my brother from another mother, the I'll say my chairman as well. This guy is my chairman. Please help me and welcome Mr. Demola to the stream today. Hi, Demola. How are you doing? You're muted.
Wow,
you're muted. I kind of want to say, what's happened?
I believe it. I can't repeat the same thing I said, but then I'm excited. So shout out to my future sponsors. Shout out.
How are you doing today, bro? How was your day?
My day. The default answer is it was good, but if you want the real answer, you can ask me. Stress.
Well, I mean,
we're grateful.
Fantastic, man, bro. Yeah. I hope, bro, you need to be pumped, man. No matter what's going on.
Yeah.
We're about to talk about maybe the biggest fight.
Let me quickly get the wings.
Fight that maybe we're about to talk about maybe the biggest fight of our old age. This is sort of our coming of age, because I mean, can you imagine, bro? The last fight of this magnitude was 25 years ago when Lennox Lewis knocked out Evander Holyfield, November 1999. It doesn't get bigger than this, does it?
But you know what? These things you just said, right? It just speaks to the situation of boxing as a sport, right? Boxing as a sport was literally dying. I remember there was a time when Joe Rogan was telling some guy from the boxing world that your sport is literally dying, right? And many thanks to Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, for literally saving the sport of boxing, because boxing was becoming a joke.
I agree with you 100%, bro. I mean,
it's becoming a joke, really. Guys were just avoiding guys, but now we have a situation where the best gets to fight the best, like what you see in the UFC, right?
Yes.
And that man will go down in history here.
Honestly, and
in boxing Hall of Fame already.
Yeah, and you're right, because the UFC has been taking boxing fans, people who just love people who just love the fight game.
Combat sports.
They'll see the UFC and they'll be like, yeah, this is where it's happening. There's no sport. Because a lot of the boxing cards, you could see a full card and you will see that you can literally predict each fight on that card. You can tell exactly how it was going to go, and it will go exactly that way. So it was beginning. So yeah, you're right. I mean, the Saudis have come in and they've pumped in money. They're making the fights that people want to see. They're putting on the show, the whole event. The packaging is what I like. What do you have to say about the packaging of the Saudis?
Wow. It's elite level. It's unprecedented. Yeah, that's the word. Did you see the Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou fight? Where you saw the whole presentation, the crown, the royal setup, the production. everything is just top-notch quality. Like it's like a
Yeah,
movie.
that,
Even the trailer was like a movie trailer, like a
yeah,
blockbuster.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
whoa, just because of the
yeah.
fight. This
I'm telling
is
you that's another thing that they brought into the thing. You know, the way they do the trailers, they do the shows. You see them sort of. It's like it's like something out of Hollywood. You know, it's like we've never seen before.
I'm
You
telling you.
know,
And the constellation of stars that they are able to invite over to Saudi Arabia. It's crazy how when a celebrity, right, is now the one requesting for photographs with super
with the fight.
celeb.
I'm
he's like a
telling you,
person that
bro.
he was humbled when he went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah,
greats. Look at the
100%.
people they bring in. People from Hollywood, people in the Boxing Hall of Fame, people from the UFC, people who are the cream de la cream
Known,
of,
yes. Yeah,
whatever
of
it
of
is that
of
they're
not
into.
just boxing and the fight game,
Yes,
but also
yes.
entertainment and Hollywood. That was really
The,
really interesting
the
to
walks of
see. And
life.
yeah, that card was interesting. I don't know if you've looked at the. So I mean, that's just that's in the past now. Let's look at what's going to happen on Saturday, bro. I mean, yesterday was
Whoa.
the grand arrivals in Riyadh. And they laid out the red carpets, they laid out everything. I've been watching on the whole thing on YouTube and all that. What do you make of the whole
Beautiful.
event, of the package so far?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been looking at it? What do you make of the whole package?
The whole package, right? So I think the build up itself is really massive. I saw the I don't want to call it a trailer, right? But then it is what it is, for the lack of a better word, right? If you did see the trailer, seeing how the narrative, it was more like a documentary and a movie put together
Yeah,
into creating an anticipation for like a landmark sporting event.
event. Yeah.
So it's really, really massive. Look at the build up, right? Look at the promotion, the quality of the promotion, the quality of the production. It is. I've never seen this before. That's why I think
Seeing,
it's unprecedented. Because when money is talking,
it's talking. Yeah.
everybody just has to shut up.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
just like this is money.
I'm telling you, bro. Is absolutely fantastic. But okay, let's just start from this then. I mean, let's just start from this. So, what do you make of the resources that the Saudis are pumping into boxing? I mean, as finance people, right? Of course, we need to look at cash flow and we need to project. So, and we know that this is in terms of sustainability. This is not necessarily sustainable because this is a situation whereby one person or one group is deciding to sponsor everything. So what happens if tomorrow they decide, oh, okay, we're no more interested in this. We're going towards this direction. So what do you think of Saudi influence in boxing and the sustainability of it?
Okay, so to start with, you like you rightly mentioned, we're finance people, but interesting thing about a person like myself, I am an auditor, right? So I have audited like a lot of entities in the course of my career, and there's some people call going concern, right?
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
concern is the ability of an entity, a company, an organization, right, to continue to operate for the foreseeable future, right?
mm-hmm.
And typically, by eye test, when you see a company that is loss making, a company that cannot generate, adequate revenue for itself, sometimes you feel like, oh, this company is not a going concern.
Yeah,
However, there is always an exception to the rule, right?
mm-hmm.
Now, I have been opportune to audit like certain entities that are continuously loss making, but they are a going
They're still
concern. Why?
viable.
Why?
Yeah,
Because they have a parent company that is buoyant and says,
yeah,
okay, this is our passion project. This company is our passion project. So, for
mm.
example, let's take what company? What company? Let's take an Amazon for example.
Mhm.
If Amazon decides to have some small company servicing the
And
UK,
they have a lot of it. Like they have
right?
a lot of it. They
And
have
they're making losses over the years. But it seems
Mm.
Amazon says, this is my passion project, right? What happens? You have a lot of big companies. Look at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? Do you think they're profitable? These guys are not profitable, right? It's not even a profit making entity, right? It's a charity, right? But then because that big dog, that top dog has said, this is my passion project,
It's
it's
going to continue.
and when you bring in the issue of materiality, how much is it to them, right? So on that
Yeah,
basis, I am not worried about the
yeah,
sustainability. I think it's a going concern. Saudi money
yeah,
is oil
yeah.
money, right? And oil money always
Who?
we always fund this thing.
Who?
So don't
Yeah,
worry
I
about the
mean,
sustainability.
okay, all
Sustainability on
right.
check.
I'm gonna hold my hands up. I mean, I like the accounting analogy, though. I mean, interesting, but obviously we're not here to talk accounting, bro. We're here to talk about fighting. Have you
Yeah,
looked at
there we go.
have you looked at the card in its entirety?
Yes.
Looking at that card, what do you think of that card? What can you say? What's your opinion on the card?
So I'll take it from two lenses, right? So from the lens of a casual,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like a card that is lopsided at the top, right?
Mm.
However, from the lens of a fight nerd, when you dig deep, right, you discover that this is a high quality card. Just like when the
Yeah.
UFC organizes a card and they say this card is stacked, right? This one is
Mm-hmm.
stacked. Why? Because you have a lot of undefeated prospects.
Yeah, yes, you do your job. You do, my brother. You did your. That's what I was just waiting to see what you're going to say. So
And
whether you did your research or not
and
about this
towards the
card.
top of the card, you have a rematch. So you have a grudge match as well, right? So
Yeah,
it has all of the drama, all of the build up that you can possibly expect, for
experts.
a
Yeah.
fight card. The quality of
Mm-hmm.
these fighters, and these fighters are not just tomato cans, right? These guys are seasoned, you know, prize fighters, and then a lot of them have won world championships and have
Yes,
beaten high quality opposition,
guys.
right?
Yes,
So there are some guys that are ex-Olympians, on this card,
yes.
ex-world champions. So you can't ask for something better, to be honest. I
Exactly.
think,
Some guys are trying to come back. Some guys are
yeah.
trying to. Exactly, like you said. They remember. I asked you that question is a banana. I just wanted to know if you just woke up and came on my stream to come and talk about fighting. I would have just chased you away immediately. So I
I'll
mean,
talk about accounting instead.
it's an interesting card, and you have people from all over the world. We even have a Nigerian on this card. We have people from
Yes,
Cuba.
our
We have
Nigerian
someone
brother,
British people, Welsh people. You have people from Ukraine.
Irish.
You have people from Irish. So this is a big one. This is a very very big one. So we're just gonna start from. I mean, I looked at it. We can't possibly look at all of them, right? So we're going to start um, from
The main
Mark
the
Chamberlain
main card.
versus our Nigerian brother. But from the ones below that one, you can pick anyone that you want to talk about, right?
Okay.
So I
Okay.
mean, what's yeah? But let's start first from like I said, our Nigerian brother Mark Chamberlain versus Joshua Oluwaseun Wahab. So Mark Chamberlain is Southpaw British, 15-0, 11 knockouts, right? And then you have our
That's a scary
Niger
man.
boy,
Orthodox.
23-1, 16
Mhm.
KOs. 10 round junior, 10 round junior lightweight battle. What's your thoughts on this one? What do you think about this one?
So it's very clear that I'm going to be biased on this one, right? because because of my Niger brother. And but one thing is this: I am always scared of undefeated fighters because it's a streak. It's a streak,
Mm,
and if we know anything about boxing, boxing is quite, for the lack of a better word, can sometimes be a corrupt sport. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
whenever there are fine margins, whenever the fights are close, they tend to want to protect the winning streak of
Yeah, so much.
undefeated
Yeah,
fighters. So that's uh, where my fear lies, right? So as somebody who is, would I say, yeah, an African, right? You're probably you're a minority, right? And if you do not win that fight decisively,
yeah.
convincingly, right, it might be difficult
Am
to
I?
to sway the judges in
Yeah.
in your favor, except you take it out of the hands of the judges, right?
Am
But
I?
in terms
Am
of
I go
skill
your
for
way?
skill for
Yeah.
skill, right? I think he has more fights than his
I
counterpart,
can't. I can't
Mark
hear you
Chamberlain.
anymore.
Mark Chamberlain, I think, has 15 fights, but Wahab has 20 something fights. He has just one defeat, so I think he's more battle
Lost. Yeah.
tested. Yeah, I think he is more battle tested, and I would give the edge to him, uh, including
Yeah.
my bias. But I think he's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Somebody's
mean,
own has
obviously.
to go.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. This one. I also pick. Joshua Oluwaseun Wahab in this one. Uh, he's obviously more experienced, and coming from. I'm sure he has that. He has that spirit in him, and yeah, looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to this one.
Just on a lighter note, right?
So
He should just channel the
uh-huh.
anger, the and frustration of the Nigerian environment and the Nigerian government on the guy. Just think about the problems back home, and you
And it,
succeed.
I'm telling you,
What the
do
aggression of the
Joshua,
guy?
Joshua, do it for us, bro. Do it for us. I want you to train this guy, train this beautiful guy, uh, Mark Chamberlain. Train him and show him, what's going on. Hi to everyone watching us. We can see there are lots of people on the stream. Say hi. If there's anything you want us to talk about, just put it down on the comment section. Thank you for joining us this evening. I mean, let's go to the next one, right? So the next one is an interesting one as well. Two undefeated guys in the heavyweight division, and
Somebody's ball has to go.
somebody's all has to go. And I remember this guy from the fight against who is this our Nigerian guy that fights in US, this Delta boy,
If you're Jagba,
remind me of that. Efe
if you're
Ajagba,
Jagba,
yeah. So Frank Sanchez, the Cuban guy, the only loss in Efe's record, he inflicted that loss on him. I think that was in the undercard of I think the Fury Wilder 3 card. It was in that card that he inflicted that loss against Efe Ajagba in the co-main event. So Frank Sanchez, with the record of 24-0, 17 knockouts,
stainless.
faces Agit. Yeah, still undefeated. Faces Agit Kabayel, 24-0, 16 KOs, a German guy. My brother, this one is gonna be another hot one. What do you think? I don't know if you've seen Frank Sanchez fight before. What do you
Yeah,
make of the guy?
at least against if you're Jagba, right? But I feel like that fight was
Yeah,
quite close, right? And these are the
yeah, yeah,
issues. These are the issues, right? Like I said at the beginning, sometimes when it's quite close and you are the underdog or you are like the outsider, the minority, they tend to swing it, right? But not because I want Frank Sanchez to lose as a vengeance for Ifya Jagba, right? But I feel like this other guy, the Caballero guy, has beaten more
more
seasoned
guys.
opponents, the likes of Derek
Yeah.
Chisora, right? Kevin
Yeah.
Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Even the Russian guy, the Makhmudov guy, he beat the last time, right? He has been battle tested. And for me, I respect you when you beat, seasoned prize fighters. So that actually shows that you are to be respected. Because in boxing, a lot of times these guys have very, very padded records.
I agree. I
Like,
agree with you.
yeah, you go into a
100%.
person's
100%.
record and see, oh, he's beating Ibuka Obuna. He has beaten and then you go further about Ibuka Obuna, you just discover that the guy is a bloody accountant. so they have a lot of names on their death list. They're like, okay, it's beating King James. It's beating this one, like, oh, wow, King James is just a bloody enemy. Caballero, it is for me. For me personally, like, because
so
yeah, both
you're going with Caballero.
So yeah, I'll be doing Caballero. Who are you rocking with?
Honestly, yeah, I saw Sanchez, man. That guy is really technical. He's a very good fighter. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Frank Sanchez on this one. A Cuban guy. You can see he's one of these guys that are dedicated to the sport. If you watch somebody like Otto Beterbiev, right? He's dedicated to the sport. Like, he's a true fighting guy, not just a boxer. He's a true fighting guy. So in this one, I'm going to go with Frank Sanchez on this one. Their records are, it's very similar records, almost the same wins, almost the same number of KOs as well. 16 for Ajit Kabaya and 17 for Frank Sanchez. So, this one is a pick 'em one, but I'm just going to go with Frank Sanchez on this one. Yeah, just moving on.
But by the way, I was going to digress a bit, right? What happened to Bivol versus Beterbiev?
Yeah, so Beterbiev is he injured. He's injured. So he's injured. So they had to replace him. So Bivol is gonna fight some other guy on the card. Yeah, Beterbiev is injured. He's gonna be out till, like, I think October. I was really, really looking forward to that fight. That one is one of those fights that, the average Joe on the streets don't really know about him, but that's a real boxing fight. Again, two undefeated fighters as well. So yeah, hopefully they're gonna run that one back sometime in the future. Fingers crossed for that one. We're just gonna move on a bit. And we'll talk about now Joe Cordina. So this guy is Joe Cordina is from Cardiff in Wales, and he has a record of 17-0, 9 knockouts, and he's gonna fight the number 3 at 130 division for the IBF title. An Irish guy from Belfast, Anthony Kakas, 21-1 with 7 KOs. Man, this one is another one. That is. There are just some very good fights. I was actually underestimating this card. I'm not gonna lie. I was underestimating this card, but if you look at this card, this is a real, real good card. What do you think about this one?
For me, I think it's a coin flip, right? But interestingly, Belfast and right?
Belfast is Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, Northern Ireland.
British,
I've been there. I was there last year. I was in Belfast. I was in Cardiff as well last year. Where would I say I enjoyed more? so I can give the victory. Right, but interestingly, Wales, they have this really fantastic culture when it comes to grooming their sports people, right? And a lot of them are like really, really disciplined, even though like they are kind of like the underdogs in the United Kingdom. But
Yeah,
looking at this guy, he is undefeated. Joe Cordina is undefeated, right? And I think
yeah,
both of them are evenly matched in terms of skill for skill, right?
yeah.
So I think in this kind of a situation, the edge lies with the undefeated fighter, which is Joe Cordina, right? The guy he's really really good. So I think it's going to be a close one. I expect to see probably like a speed decision win because I expect a
The
really
Joe.
really close fight. Yeah, I
Yeah,
expect a really close
yeah.
fight.
Yeah, and the odds as well. The odds pick Joe to defend his title. He's the champion, IBF super featherweight.
So what are the odds
Yes.
for
So the
for
odds
this?
is minus 450 for Joe Cordina, and plus 350 for Anthony Kakes. So Anthony Kakes is the dog in this one. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
obviously doesn't mean much, in this sport. But,
It's just
we've seen
numbers
it.
on paper.
My brother, we've seen it several times. Anything can happen in the fight game. The fight game really is brutal.
I'm unforgiving.
I'm unforgiving, my brother. Yeah, I mean, just moving on to, because don't forget the main event. We can talk about that one for as long as possible. So let's just move on. Let's move on to the co-main. So this guy in the comment is a guy that the
Gorilla.
hype around Joe Opetaya is crazy, and each time he has actually backed it up. He has actually
It's
backed it
not for
up
nothing.
time and time again. And no wonder he is he's a favorite in this one for the vacant IBF Cruiserweight Championship.
Mhm.
And so Opetaya comes in with a 24-0 record. 19 of those wins coming by way of knockout.
God.
And he's fighting a guy in Maris Bredis who is 28-2.
And mind you,
Um,
he's fought him
uh,
before.
yeah, exactly. This is the real match. This is the one we talked about earlier. This is the one we talked about earlier. 28-2, and of course one of that two was inflicted by Joe Opetaya, and 20 of those wins coming by way of knockout. My brother, what's your thoughts on
Should
this
I
one?
should I give you a fun fact, right? The
Go
two
ahead.
the two people that this guy has lost to, right, are actually on this card.
Mm,
So his first loss was actually against Alexander Usyk. Remember, Usyk used to be a cruiserweight.
yeah.
Yeah, so his first loss was against Usyk, and then his second loss was against Jai Opetaya, right? Jai Opetaya, he's a savage, right? He's a beast, and I saw the first fight, right? And to be honest, I think he's gonna do double. I think he's gonna do double against Burgess. Burgess is actually really, really
Yeah.
solid, right? He's a solid fighter, and if you
Yeah.
if you did see his fight against Usyk, right? He gave Usyk a good run for his money, right? So, and it was a majority decision actually, right?
It's
So that actually tells you that
yeah.
I think one of the judges scored it as a draw. So he's not a pushover, right? For somebody to push Usyk
He's a
to a
tough guy.
majority, yeah, that is a really really
Yeah.
tough guy. So I think the
Mm,
edge is with Jai, undefeated, solid guy, and of course he has beaten this guy before. So if I were to
before,
put my
yeah.
money,
So
I'll go with Jai.
yeah. So basically, you're saying this is one of those scenarios where yeah, the guy just has his number. He's just gonna
I'm telling
do it
you, he
again.
has his number,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, I mean, yeah, you never seen that. For me, the hype around Jai is insane. Like, he's the one really that I'm really going to focus on that fight, and I'm definitely going to watch that fight because that one is. I haven't actually seen him sort of. I've watched highlights here and there, but I haven't actually watched an entire fight of this guy, this Australian guy from Sydney. Yeah, so
He's actually a very
looking
smart,
for.
smart fighter. He's smart, and
Yeah,
he does a lot of body punches, right? So he walks you,
punches. Mm.
he walks you out, right? He's the guy is a beast. That's just what I'm gonna say. He's a real beast, and he's a volume
Yeah.
fighter.
Well, interest volume fighter. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you see their very first
We're
fight,
here
right?
for it.
If you saw their first fight,
Mhm.
Brady's was landing more of the damaging shots, right? But then Jai was overwhelming him with the volume. And you know what happens when somebody overwhelms you with volume? He just walks you down.
Yeah,
So it's not about
yeah.
just picking shots. But
Eventually, is going to come. It's going to show eventually that, man.
yeah,
Those accumulation of punches, and yeah, it's
just like what
it's
Bartholomew
yeah,
does in the UFC.
So, my brother, I don't, is first of all, before I go to my questioning about the main event, yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, concerning these ones that we've looked at, just before we go on to, because we're going to build up sort of, I'm going to build like a preamble before we then go on to our prediction for the main event. I don't want us to take too much time on the stream today. And by the way, thank you very much to everyone who has tuned in today. Just you can drop us a comment and tell us if there's anything specifically you want to talk about. And like the video, please share, invite your friends to join. And this is an epic event, right? This is history in the making. So make sure that you are part of this history. That's basically what we're doing here today. This is the very first time in 25 years that we're going to have an undisputed heavyweight champion. It doesn't get bigger than this. Dams, what do you think? Does it get bigger than this?
To be honest, right? It doesn't get bigger than this. Boxing as a sport. I think at some point I had just lost hope in boxing, and I think UFC was what saved my interest in the world of combat sports because I had literally lost all hope in boxing. I felt like boxing was like a total joke. And then
Like
when
it,
UFC
yeah.
came along, I started watching UFC, and all of a sudden, I started seeing boxing reemerge from from the darkness that it went into. Right. So seeing this at
Hmm.
this point is something that we are going to tell our children in the future. Because
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's what I've been thinking, right? This is one of those events where in the future, exactly, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna ask yourself, where were you when this fight was going on? You're gonna tell the story, and it's yeah, it took 25 just to say it took 25 years because obviously to just lay the background for those who don't really understand the boxing world, right? So there are so many belts. You've got the WBC, you've got the WBO belt, you've got the
I,
WBA
I
belt, you've got the IBO belt, and I got the IBF belt, and you also got have these days the lineal, So it's five people, for instance, can hold these five different belts
different belts.
just to lay, and all of them will be champions. So it's actually difficult to sort of bring the belts together for one, to be held by one person. And don't forget, at the moment, Tyson Fury holds just one of these belts, right?
Well, the most
But
prestigious
that
amongst them.
one is the most prestigious, exactly, which is why he has all the reputation that he has and everything. And I'm not disputing that at all. And Usyk has the rest, right? So just to lay that preamble. But yeah, So the question I wanted to ask is, I don't know if I've asked it, is this the greatest boxing fight you've witnessed? Yeah. So I'm going to ask you today, is this the greatest boxing fight that you've witnessed in your lifetime? Tell us in the comment section as well, for the people watching. Tell us, is this the greatest boxing fight that you've witnessed in your lifetime? What do you think?
I think the answer to that question depends on how old you are. If you ask my father that same question, I don't think my father cares much about Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. He probably just knows them as, okay, that guy from Ukraine, and that troublemaker guy from the United Kingdom, right? Because I see how people in our parents' generation talk very highly of Mike Tyson, you know, Evander Holyfield, Lennox
Yeah.
Lewis, they talk about these guys in very, very high regard.
Hi.
And I think, I don't know, I've not had that conversation with my father, but I think he still thinks that Muhammad Ali is the greatest ever boxer
Boxer.
to have, graced this
I think
planet.
a lot of people think that, to be fair, a lot of people
Mhm,
still think that.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they talk about the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, the old greats, right? So I think there's this conversation around the older generation of boxers being the tougher guys, right? Remember, at some
Yeah.
point, the championship fights used to be 15 rounds. Those were the tougher days, right? But now,
Tough days. Yeah.
with bedtime nutrition, technology, uh, boxing has become like more refined, right? So they feel like we have softer boxers in this age and
Yeah.
time. Apparently, boxing has been highly commercialized, right? So a lot goes into it. But remember, back in the day, they did not have the kind of high level nutritionists, technology that we have in this age and
Have
time.
now.
Yeah, so but from our own lenses, right? Being a millennial, for me, I would say this is the greatest, ever um, in my lifetime. I remember the Evander Holyfield one, right? But I don't think I was old enough to have absorbed that experience. There's something about
Yeah.
where you are, knowing where you are,
Ah.
point wherein an event is happening. I think my earliest memories of sporting events was France. Is it France '98?
France 98. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
World Cup.
Yeah.
I remember I was
Yeah.
a child, but I remember
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
feeling had,
Yeah.
about it, right?
And because Nigeria were doing well in that tournament, that was
Yeah.
also the second. Yeah, that was also the second our second tournament after doing
Hmm.
well in the last one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
It's crazy how people in, let's say, third world countries, right, who do not have access to TV, will probably go out of their comfort zones, go out of their homes, right, to go and watch these things. And I think that's what's going to happen again in this one, right? A lot of people around the world are going to go out of their comfort zones to ensure that they're able
Hmm.
to match the Peace One life, right? So
Yeah.
it's a really massive one. I think for me,
Yeah.
it's the biggest. I'm not gonna lie, it's the biggest in my
Yeah.
lifetime.
So
Too far.
what yeah, for me as well, just to answer the question as well. I think it is. I mean, just considering everything, because let's be honest, when the heavyweights are in town, we know this, that's mainly who people want to watch, the big guys, So yeah, so far I would say it is, but I mean, who knows? Who says there wouldn't be bigger fights? Obviously, there will be bigger fights in the future. Um, so what? This is a very funny one. So what do you think about John Fury? John Fury's antics this week.
That man is
Have you
a
seen the news
clown.
of?
that man is a clown. Jeez. he's just a classic. What do you call them now? Gypsies, right? So I don't know if you know about the way the gypsies behave here in the UK. They are troublemakers. If you ever
Mm.
encounter them, anyways, I'm sorry. I don't intend to put myself in harm's way, but I've encountered a few gypsies, right? Like they will fight you. They will
Mm.
just offend one of them, and then you know that you're in trouble. They are always
Have
moving
you
in.
fought with them before in
I
groups?
have nearly, had an encounter before, but for me, I'm always humble and respectful. So thank God for my home training. Because it was me and a fellow Nigerian, right? And then he was going to say something. He was saying something that was offensive to them, and then we just
Mm.
saw, whoa, massive numbers of these guys. I was like, oh, sorry, I had to become a diplomat, right? So because they were literally going to mess up my friend. So I know what it is to be in the way of the gypsies, right? So I'll
Yeah.
say John is the classic gypsy, but
Mm.
it's just, I
All
think it's just
right.
to get into the head of the few to the Usyk camp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But obviously Usyk has been
Mental
really
warfare.
calm, just like he always is. That guy. There's just something about him. He's
Okay, just okay. For those watching us live, right? Apologies for the technical difficulties, right? So I see a comment from somebody online, and I'll read that. A national acrobat. He says Usyk will do to Fury what Crawford did to Spence. Wow, yeah, battle of two undefeated fighters, right? Uh I'd love to see people who think Fury has got the edge over Usyk, because for me, I think I lean more towards the Usyk side of things, right? Uh, for Usyk, given his style of boxing, Usyk is a classic boxer. We shouldn't forget the fact that Usyk actually moved up from cruiserweight to becoming a heavyweight. So he is the one with the speed advantage. He's a smaller heavyweight. However, he's been able to transition over time to become a proper heavyweight. But with that being said, I think Usyk has the speed advantage, right? And he's got the skill advantage as well. Tyson Fury is highly skilled. His jab is money, right? But the more well-rounded boxer, I would say, in my opinion, is Alexander Usyk. But when you talk about the guy with the knockout threat, right? Uh, that would have to be Fury. We used to think of Fury as the guy with the pillow fists before. However, make no joke of Fury. We saw what he did to Deontay Wilder in the second and the third fights, right? So he's got big power, especially in his right hand, and he can be devastating. And I think Fury might want to adopt the approach of uh, making Usyk tired by engaging a lot in the clinch, right? And what that does is it. I see a comment in National Acrobats, right? It says cruiserweight Steve Cunningham was able to put Fury down. Usyk will put him down and keep him down. Wow. Are you sure? Because do you think Usyk has got enough power to be able to knock out Fury. Let's look into their antecedents, right? Their previous fights, right? Um, and you mentioned to me one a major opponent that that Usyk was able to knock out at heavyweight. I can't remember one top of my head right now because most of Usyk's fights have been at cruiserweight. Oh yes, he did KO Dana Dubois with the jab. But remember, he wore him out. He wore him out, and I think the Dana Dubois fight is quite um, controversial because you could argue that Dana Dubois actually did knock out Usyk with that body shot. But are you one of those people who are of the opinion that the body shot was actually below the belt because it was just on the belt line? So I'd like to see your response in the comment section. Because Daniel Dubois, he is a proper heavyweight, but I think his lack of experience actually cost him the fight against Usyk. His lack of experience cost him that fight, and I think he was respecting Usyk a bit too much. Probably he had the jitters, he had the nervousness, but I think on another day, if he is well improved, he should be able to beat Usyk. But given the situation of things, like okay, in the first AJ fight, the final bell was wrong 7 seconds early. Otherwise, Usyk would have stopped AJ. Wow, the final bell was wrong 7 seconds early. Otherwise, would I say would I say that is a conspiracy theory? Wow, 7 seconds early. I'll do my research into that, right? Like who was that timekeeper who would ring the bell 7 seconds earlier? But regardless, AJ, could not. He was actually compromised in that fight, right? He was badly caught in that fight. But then in the second fight, we saw how AJ was able to show resilience, right, against Usyk. But one thing is, AJ is he's not a volume puncher. He is a power puncher. But Usyk's speed was advantage against him, right? So he couldn't catch Usyk. But I think AJ has improved in terms of his hand speed, right? And if they were to be engaged in another fight, I think AJ will probably have the upper hand in this in the next one. So hopefully, let's do boxing mathematics, right? Let's hope that Usyk is able to have the better of a Fury, and then we possibly see an AJ versus Usyk trilogy. Well, national acrobats, who do you think wins if we do see an Usyk versus AJ trilogy? So back to the Usyk and Fury fight, right? For me, I just feel like Usyk has that. Oh wow, wow! I've been a boxing fan for 44 years now. Massive, massive. If I may ask, so how old are you, sir? 44 years is massive. I'm not even up to 40, right? So I respect the years of research that you have actually put into the sport, right? So I wouldn't say I have been a boxing fan for so long. Uh, how many years would I say? But a couple of years, a number of years, right? But I have been in and out of the sport. At some point, I lost hope on the sport and switched to mixed martial arts. Yeah. So when it comes to mixed martial arts, yeah, I am a pundit expert, on all things, mixed martial arts. But for boxing, it's just one of my combat sports that I follow because it's the sweet science, and of course it's that fundamental combat sport that brings us all into the world of combat sports. So that being said, I think I've probably been following boxing since the early 2000s. Yes. So the Lennox Lewis end of Tyson career era. Yeah, from then. But then, when it comes to like the history of boxing, I still go way back into following some of the old greats, right? The Sugar Ray Leonard's, the Muhammad Ali's, the Joe Frazier's of the past, right? So for me, I feel like that era of boxing was the real tough era. Right? Okay. He says the first fight I saw live was Minter versus Hagler in 1980 when I was 16 years. Wow, being a fan ever since. Massive, massive, massive. That's, that's a great one. I drop my heart. I salute. So doing the math right, if you were 16, right, at 1980, we are in 2024 minus 1980, that is 44 years ago. Wow, 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 that's massive. That's 44 plus 16, that's about 60. Wow. Your knowledge should be highly respected, highly respected. If I could post a comment, like, if you don't mind, joining us on the stream, I could send you the invite link. Let me do that shortly. Just send you the invite link to join us on the stream. I would get that shortly for you. Let me get it. So let me
Can you hear
know.
me, Demola?
Yes, I can hear you. So I have
Oh,
been chatting to a boxing expert and enthusiast, right? In the live stream, he's a national acrobat.
mm-hmm.
So I dropped the stream link for him. So if you see a national acrobat, you could approve their joining the
Yeah,
stream.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay, but can
yes.
you see me? You can hear me, but can
I
you see
cannot
me? I'm
see
not
you. I can
sure.
only see black.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, okay. Wow, technology is messing me up today. I don't know what the heck is going on, but yeah. Hopefully, I'll be visible soon. I think it's just yeah. Anyway, we're approaching the home stretch now. Anyway, thanks for holding in while I was battling with I don't know what's wrong with my computer, but yeah. So yeah, I can see you've been talking about the fights. Honestly, this one is I don't know what you will think of my opinion about this fight, right? But
Sorry,
my opinion
quick one.
about this fight
Ibuka.
is I'll go with Usyk, man. I don't want to beat around the bush too much. I'm gonna go with Usyk in this one.
Oh wow,
Mm.
wow.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Why are you copying me? Did you hear me? Like, or you still having the?
Oh, you went to Usyk as well?
Yeah, I said that on the stream already. I went with Usyk, right? Somebody saying we should display the pictures of the fighters.
I can actually hear you. Oh,
So I'm going to
yeah. I
display.
mean, Dems, you can do that, can't you? Can you share the
Yeah.
screen? Yeah,
So
we can.
I'm going to share my screen
Yeah.
shortly.
Okay. Maybe I will leave the studio and join from another computer. Yeah. Yeah. Let me leave the stream and join from another computer. Okay.
Okay. So this is the
Yeah.
photograph of the fighters, right? So I hope our audience can see from the screen. A national acrobat, can you please confirm if you'll be joining us on the stream? I have sent the StreamYard link in the comment section to you. So just kindly revert. So I have on the display the pictures of the fighters. Okay, yeah, fantastic. So the bigger guy is Tyson Fury, and the smaller guy is Alexander Usyk. And the D-Day is May the 18th, Saturday. It's the biggest heavyweight
18th.
clash
Yeah.
in in my lifetime. I don't know about other people's lifetimes, but in my lifetime, this is the biggest so far. This is the biggest and the baddest so far. So I don't know if a national acrobat is able to join in, so you're able to get the joining request, right? Since the stream is from your end, I cannot approve a joining request. So
Yeah.
just
If I see him, I will approve. If I see the person, I will approve. They haven't come in yet.
okay,
I'm
okay,
trying to
then that
change my computer. Yeah. So
okay,
just so
okay.
that we can round up. Yeah.
But why are you going with Usyk as well?
Say that again.
I said, why are you going with Usyk? Like, why do you have to
What did
go
you?
with the same person I'm going with?
I just think honestly, yeah, I just think Usyk is more technical, and I think I can see it in his eyes. He seems to want it more. Um, yeah, Tyson has basically reached his ceiling now, and I don't think there is much more that he can do in this sport. I might be very wrong. I might be totally wrong, but this is just what I think. Yeah, you know,
For me, I feel like
this is just
Tyson
what.
Fury is playing mind games with everybody. He's playing mind
Yeah,
games, right?
that might be true as well. That might be true.
and
Yeah.
he has come out to say in interviews that it doesn't really mean much to him. That it's just another fight, another belt, and by the time he's going to do school run on Monday, like he's not going to be with the belts, and he's just going to be back to normal life, right? But Usyk, you can see the focus in his eyes, right? And
Mm.
he doesn't speak. Would I say he speaks English, but his English is quite limited, right? But from the limited English he's able to speak, you will see a man that is dialed in, a man that is focused, a man that is highly determined, and it's difficult to stop the willpower of a highly determined man. So that being said, I feel like Usyk is actually hungrier for for this undisputed title. But nevertheless, skill for skill, I think Usyk is the highest skilled fighter. However, Tyson has that, you know, knockout threat. See what he did to Deontay Wilder, right? However, you can make an argument that Deontay Wilder is actually not on the skill level of Usyk, right? He's not on the skill level of Usyk. But when you go back to the days where Tyson Fury fought Klitschko, right? You see that was the hungry version of Tyson Fury. He was really, really hungry then. And Klitschko was both a power puncher and a highly skilled fighter. And interestingly, he's also Ukrainian, right?
Yeah,
So you can see when you push Tyson to to the limits, right? He just comes out in a different way. There's a new beast that is activated in him. Look at what he did against Wilder in the first fight. He was literally knocked out, but he came back to even win that round. So I think it's a tight one. It's a really really tight one. But for me, I don't know why, but my guts just goes for Usyk, right? Because I feel like he's more determined and he's better skilled. But I know one thing that ties in
yeah. So I mean, I just in this fight, I just believe that this is obviously Usyk's fight to win. Uh, it's gonna be difficult, very very difficult. But yeah, this is just what I think. Um, yeah. Um, thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Um, I don't know if yeah. Welcome back. Can you
yeah,
hear me?
technology doing this thing again.
My brother, it's been a crazy evening,
It's been
I
up and
must
down.
say. But I mean, we're almost at the home stretch now. Yeah, obviously we've both chosen who we think is going to win this fight, right?
Exactly.
And one question I wanted to ask though, I wanted to ask about if this fight will actually deliver because several times there has been huge build-ups to a lot of fights that end up not delivering in the end. So do you think that this fight is definitely going to deliver and why do you think so?
Oh wow. Speaking of delivery, it is I think a relative thing. It's subjective in nature, right? So I remember somebody was telling me recently that the Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou fight, right? That it did not deliver up to the expectation because I think Joshua knocked him out in it was it round one or round two? I think round two, right? Yeah, because this person was literally just going to get their popcorn, get their drink, and trying to settle into the fight, only for the fight to just end that way. Another fight was John Jones versus Cyril Gane, right? With all of the hype, all of the build up, right? And then it just ended in round one. So I think this one is actually going to live up to the expectation, right? Uh, okay, another fight I would like to reference is Adesanya versus Yo Romero. Yeah, that was one fight that went the distance, right? But it was sort of like a snooze fest because both fighters
Yeah.
were not engaging. But I think in this
Yeah, sorry, which one? Which fight are you talking about?
Adesanya versus Romero,
Yeah,
it
yeah. Adesanya versus Romero was
was
that was a
boring.
very weird fight.
A
I don't
very
even
weird
honestly I
fight.
don't know how Easy won that fight because man, Easy was I don't know how really don't know how he won that fight because that
Romero
guy is huge and
was scared to engage, right? And then in the end, he
yeah.
was now complaining that Easy did not engage him. You did not bring the fight to him. Another fight is Jared Cannonier versus Easy as well, right?
Mhm.
Cannonier was gun shy, right? Fight this guy. You're a prize fighter. Like, what's the worst that can happen? He will knock you out. But try. If you try, you may win. But if you don't try, you have lost, right? So I think those are like some possibilities wherein you have a quick knockout, right? Or you have a fight wherein both fighters are sort of gun shy.
Yeah,
They are scared to engage. I think if this fight doesn't deliver, it will be more of both fighters over respecting themselves and being nervous to engage. I think that's
engage.
just as I can see. But other than that, I feel like it should live
It
up to the
will.
hype.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too, because I mean, obviously, these guys are being paid a fortune, right, to give us something in this fight. So they can't just go there and become gun shy and become, afraid to engage or to do something, right? These guys they have to put it on. They have to give us our money's worth. If they want us to buy these pay-per-views, they have to give us our money's worth. And I really think I really think this one will deliver. Like we know already, this is like their biggest paydays. I think Tyson said it himself that this fight is his biggest payday. And
Definitely, what do you expect?
you know, so Tyson
What
said it
do you
himself.
expect?
And we know who Tyson is. We know how much he has been. He's been making lots of money in his
In the
last
past,
few fights.
that is
The
very
guy is a
tricky.
multi-millionaire. So you know, this one should definitely deliver for us. Um,
But have you
yeah,
thought
I
of
mean,
this possibility?
sorry, go
I'm
on.
thinking about different possibilities. I was thinking there's a possibility that we see a draw.
Yeah, yeah. Some people have mooted that one that the especially will most likely see a draw in a situation where Usyk does very well in the fight. They wouldn't want Fury to win because this is literally, let's be honest, this is literally a Tyson Fury's show, you know. But you never tell. You never can tell. They have to go out there and put on the show, and we'll see in the end, right? Let's not reach any conclusions right yet. Let's just be
We can
let's
only
see
wait
how
and
it
see.
goes, right?
We can only wait
Yeah,
and see.
can only wait and see, my brother. Um, yeah, I mean it's interesting. Obviously, I don't know if you read out the records of these two guys. So Usyk has obviously Fury has a record of 34 and 0 with one draw. That one draw was against Deontay Wilder, as we know already. Um, and 24 of his 34 wins coming by way of knockout. All right. And then Usyk has a record of 21 and 0. 14 of his wins coming by way of knockout. And only 5 of those fights have come in the heavyweight division. All the other
Yeah,
ones have come in
cruiserweight.
cruiserweight. So yeah, so it's interesting. And another fact that I didn't actually know until recently was that Usyk is actually more is older than Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he
I
is.
don't know
He's
if
37.
yeah.
He's
So
37.
all
But
these are
he's
factors that
younger.
hmm,
Yeah, I feel like
you
he's
know
taking better care of his body than Tyson.
yeah, all these are factors that come into the fight for. But obviously, I don't think that will be a factor because, like you said, Usyk is someone that is really dedicated to the sport, and yeah,
Very
it shows
disciplined.
it in his outputs and everything. Um, yeah, just before, I mean, is there anyone? We said we're going to talk about at least one person from the undercard, from the other fights we didn't talk about. Is there any person that interests you at all that you would maybe want to highlight on this card?
That's Jai. I think his hype train is real. There are
Hmm.
sometimes wherein a fighter's hype train is sometimes annoying. You feel like the skill level does not match the hype.
Match up, yeah, yeah,
But I feel like for Jai, the
it
skill
does.
matches the hype. And I hope to see the hype train not derailed.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. I mean, I think that will be. I don't know if there are any more comments. We didn't see the national acrobat. We're expecting you to maybe join us, but you haven't joined us today. Maybe another day you can join us on the stream so that you can have your own input. Because, like I said, this is a blockbuster event. This is an event that everyone should have their say, right? So anyone that wants to contribute is obviously welcome to come on and contribute. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other things that you would like to round up with Kingdoms.
Whoa! So somebody was asking me earlier in the day, sending me a message like he wants to bet. Like, who should he bet? Okay, he said, who do I think will win? And then I said Usyk. And then he now said, oh, it means I'm putting my money on Usyk.
Hmm.
My advice to you is, don't go over the top, know when to stop. Gamble responsibly. that
Hmm.
is that is my advice to you.
Before you go shock person.
Because that kind of magnitude of high stakes one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the absence of anything, for me as well, I would also say Usyk, but obviously gamble responsibly. Um, this one is a 50-50 one. I would advise to stay away from this one because, yeah, you can't really be sure, to be fair. As much as I think Usyk will win this fight, I also believe that Tyson Fury is a dangerous guy. I mean, there's a reason why he has overcome a lot of the things that we did. I don't even think we touched on his mental issues. I mean, he's also mental health awareness week this week, and he has overcome a whole lot of things in his life, right? And somebody like that, forget about the trash talk and the sort of sometimes overacting and talking and all that he does. He's a promotion genius. He's the dream of every promoter because he promotes his own fights. He's always out there talking. He knows how to sell the fights. But then he has also overcome a lot of things in his life, and you don't count somebody like that out of a fight like this. And there's also this saying that he shows up when the ovation is loud. I'm not going to forget the win he had against Klitschko. So yeah, yeah, the guy is a proper fighter. Um, yeah. So guys, follow King Dems and subscribe to his channel. Um, and share. He's been releasing lots of content. Yeah, let's support him and subscribe also to my channel. Chat
Ciao.
with the tycoon.
Cool.
I have a lot of things coming on, and yeah, we yeah let's celebrate. Let's celebrate on May the 18th and watch this one and be part of history, right? Because this is history in the making, you know.
May
So
the best.
may the best man win, bro.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much, and have a good evening, everyone. We're gonna go to bed now.
It's bye from
Thank
me.
you very much.
All right, guys.
Peace. Bye.